So today I wanted to talk about karma, and to demonstrate what I mean by karma, I want to tell you a Korean folk tale. Um, it happened long, long, long time ago, probably in the 20s, when people in Korea, the farmers especially, who didn't have a lot of food, a lot of money to feed the whole family. There was a very poor family of consisting of a father, a small daughter about 5 or 6 years old, and the mother, of course, and a grandmother. And if you know anything about Asian cultures, the parents will give anything to so that their children are well off. Even now, they'll sacrifice um, having things for themselves so that their children can have it. They'll save all their lives to send their children to college or so that they can have better clothes than they did. But back then was, even more fierce. Um, the grandmother was quite old, and she was, everybody had to eat, and she ate less so that her children could eat more. And one day where it came to that there wasn't enough food. Weeks would go by and they would have less and less food, and especially in the winters. And and the father and the grandmother had decided that, well, they can feed all the mouths in the family. And so the grandmother said, you can take me out to the pasture. And the father, you know, sort of agreed. Um, I'm not sure if it was the mother's idea or the father's, but anyway, what they did when they didn't have enough food was to take older people um, to the pasture to die alone. And so they had this thing called the wooden backpack, where the farmers used to carry rice paddies. And so, um, you know, namu kabang in Korean. So they put the grandmother, or the father put the grandmother on this, wooden backpack, and was getting ready to take the grandmother to the pasture, into a field, so that, she could die alone. And apparently this was a custom. And the daughter saw this and said, I want to go too. I want to go see where grandma is going to be. And the father didn't want the daughter to go, but the daughter kept, asking. So he said, okay. And so they walk, you know, uh, pretty far. And, they come to a spot, and the grandma says, yes, this is fine. And the father, you know, gently puts down, his mother, and he leaves her in this spot, and he's about to leave. He says his goodbye, and of course, you know, you have to, he's like, you have to live, I have to feed my daughter and my wife. And he takes his leave, and the daughter says, Dad, you forgot the wooden backpack, namu kabang. You forgot it. Don't you want to take it with you? And the father says, no. And the daughter says, well, Dad, well, what about when it's your time? I would need it to bring you here. And the father, of course, was shocked and stunned and greatly saddened by his daughter, wanting to bring him here. This is the same fate that he just, had used on his own mother. And this saddened him, this touched him, and this, yeah, affected his whole, perspective on life, to say the least. And he decided to take his mother back. So he uses this wooden backpack and puts his mother on it, and they go back to the village. And he manages to feed the whole family. Well, that's the story. And if you can, kind of put two and two together, and this is what karma is. How do you raise your children? How do you um, make them into responsible, loving, and caring people? And it's the way you would, the way you treat people. Children are going to copy what you do. And it's also with karma. How do you treat people? If you treat, okay, let's say some people don't treat you right, but that doesn't mean that you have to treat them the same way. And if you're good to someone and they're not good to you, someone else is going to be good to you. It does come back. It may not come to you good luck or money or love or chance, the universe being open, you know, surprises and goodness and generosity and wealth comes in different forms. So keep an open mind. I love this story. I've read it, I think, about 15 years ago on an airplane, and I never forgot it. When something bad happens to me, I think, maybe there's a lesson here. Think of your bad situation as opportunities to see differently, to react differently, or to redo something that maybe you were not satisfied with. You know, that's how I see it. So I hope you enjoyed this story, and I will be back next time with a new folk tale and maybe a life lesson. Thanks.